Hi, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Veil with Taylor. I'm Taylor. Today, we're going to be talking about a story that originates in Blackwater, Louisiana. Some of you may be familiar with this. Her name is Barbara Q, also known as Barba Q. So, a little bit about Barbara. Back in 1970s, she owned a bed and breakfast in Blackwater, Louisiana. She was a member of the Blackwater United Methodist Church as well. So that'll be a key factor because once I tell you what all she done, you're gonna think, wow, people can really deceive people. So she had a bed and breakfast, a very well known bed and breakfast in the area of Blackwater, Louisiana. And within this bed and breakfast, people would come for miles and miles for this particular one thing. That was her beef stew. She had amazing beef stew that everybody wanted to come and check out. Like that was the thing. That was kind of like what drew people into it as well, not just travelers, but her beef stew. It was talked about for miles and miles and miles. So this is a very fancy B&B. It wasn't, some little rundown shack. So one night, a traveling salesman by the name of Raisins checked into her B&B. And upon him arriving, she asked him, "Does anybody know you're here?" He said, "No." And then he got to thinking, well, that's a little odd. Like, why do you want to know? Like, why are you, asking? But he didn't really think anything of it. It was late and he was tired. He'd been traveling and he wanted to get some rest. So he got his room key. He took his stuff to his room and retired for the night. Now, some point night, Mr. Zenz was awoken by a lullaby, a very familiar lullaby that he remembers from his childhood. Standing at the foot of his, and he recognizes it as well. As he goes to turn on the keys, a woman that's now that he met earlier. It's Barbara, but the same Barbara. She's got long hair. She's got the eyes, like teeth. She's or more. Sitting there, just looking. And then as he goes to reach for the light to turn it on, because he still hasn't turned, she lunges. Quickly jumps out of bed, running down the hall. Help, 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 anybody help. And so, he's their guest. And as these guests are coming out of their rooms, they all meet. And once they get down, they all, are like, what's going on? I don't know if they necessarily knew who he was, but they were like asking this man, like, what's going on? And he call the cops. So they call the cops. The cops arrive. It's the cops and the parent guy. What's the story of what just happened? And he's like, man, I don't know, like, what's going on with this woman, but figure out what is going on. And so I ask her, they're like, Barbara, I'm like, why are you here terrorizing this man? Did you attack this man? Why did you do it? Like, what's going on? Well, the only thing that he kept saying was, they don't fight back. They usually don't fight back. They usually don't fight back. Just kept repeating it over and over. And they were like, okay, something is not right here with this woman. Well, remember that beef telling you about? Can y'all guess what Barbara was doing? Well, come to find out, Barbara had killed several hundreds of her guests. She was cutting them up and turning the stew, serving it to her guests. Now, you got to think about it. It's the 70s, okay? 1970s, Louisiana. Serving beef stew for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, that's a little odd, okay? Like, first of all, it's odd to be eating beef stew for breakfast, but it's odd to be eating back in the day. Plus, day, like that was what she served. That's what she was most famous for. Like, I guess because people was like trying to figure out, the taste. Like, I mean, obviously they must have liked the taste because it was popular. That's why people wanted to come. But this is not a very, run down place. It was obviously very prominent. It was very nice. Like, I've seen pictures of it, and I can try and get some of those and add them. But I mean, it was a large bed and breakfast. It wasn't just, a little rundown shack somebody's running back in the 70s makes the money from trash. Like, I mean, it was well known. This was well known. People that stayed there was well off. And her questioning was, I know you're here, is because obviously the ones that nobody knew they were there, she was turning them into beef stew because obviously I guess she felt like, well, nobody's going to be looking for them. Nobody's going to know where they went if they were looking for them. So, but they found bloodstains all over the kitchen, and countless remains. However, during the research, unfortunately, I never did find out what happened. Like, did they or anything like that? That was, not able to be found. But also upon pictures and looking at pictures, this woman was very, very, very creepy. Like, I honestly, after seeing her, and this is like her in a normal state, I stayed there. And then to think that she changed her looks, I mean, like, there was obviously something good. And then, like, remember at the very beginning, she was a member of a United Methodist Church in Blackwater. So that just goes to show you that people of like even prominence and, a godly woman, so to say, can do such heinous things, or people in with the community so well that probably the people of her church that she was going to be anywhere. Like, bed and breakfasts are out, and I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, this woman was the female version of the taker. Like, she was doing this by herself. I mean, I never found anything about it. But you just never know. You never know. I mean, that just goes to show, like, you never know who might be sitting in the pew next, who you might work with. So, be alert out there. And this has been a wonderful Beyond the Veil with Taylor.